It is where our laws are framed, the country's future is debated, and the people's representatives are held accountable. It is India's seat of government. And all the important laws are passed right here in this iconic building, Parliament of India. Parliament of India is the supreme legislative body and a living epitome of freedom and sovereignty of the people of India. It occupies a preeminent and pivotal position in India's democratic polity. Hello and welcome viewers, you're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV with your host Kriti Mishra. Parliament is the supreme legislative body of India. In this edition, let's take a look at the business expected during the upcoming Monsoon Session of Parliament. Come along. The summoning of Parliament is specified in Article 85 of the Constitution. The power to convene a session of Parliament rests with the government. The decision is taken by the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, which is formalized by the President, in whose name members of Parliament are summoned to meet for a session. India does not have a fixed parliamentary calendar. By convention, Parliament meets for 3 sessions in a year. The longest, budget session, that is, the first session that starts towards the end of January and concludes by the end of April or first week of May. The second session is the Monsoon Session, which usually begins in July and finishes in August. Winter session is generally held from November to December. The gap between 2 sessions of the Parliament cannot exceed 6 months, which means the Parliament meets at least 2 times in 1 year. The Monsoon Session of Parliament is scheduled to be held between 21st July and 21st August 2025. The basic function of Parliament is to make laws. All legislative proposals have to be brought in the form of bills before Parliament. A bill is a statute in draft and cannot become law unless it has received the approval of both the Houses of Parliament and then the assent of the President of India. The process of law making begins with the introduction of a bill in either House of Parliament. A bill can be introduced either by a minister or a member other than a minister. In the former case, it is called a government bill, and in the latter case, it is known as a private member's bill. A bill undergoes 3 readings in each house, that is, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, before it is submitted to the President for assent. However, a money bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. It can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha with prior recommendation of the President for introduction in the Lok Sabha. If any question arises whether a bill is a money bill or not, the decision of the Speaker thereon is final. Now let's take a look at the business expected during Monsoon Session of Parliament 2025. Resolution seeking approval of extension of President's rule imposed through proclamation issued by the President on the 13th of February 2025 under the Article 356(1) of the Constitution of India in relation to the state of Manipur. The Coastal Shipping Bill 2025. The bill seeks to consolidate and amend the law relating to regulation of coastal shipping, promote coastal trade and encourage domestic participation therein to ensure that India is equipped with a coastal fleet owned and operated by the citizens of India for its national security and commercial needs and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Bills of Landing Bill 2025. The bill seeks to make provisions for the transfer of rights of suit and all other liabilities to the consignee named in a bill of landing and every endorsee of a bill of landing to whom the property in the goods mentioned in the bill of landing shall pass upon or by reason of a consignment or an endorsement and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Carriage of Goods by Sea Bill 2025. The bill seeks to provide for the responsibilities, liabilities, rights and immunities attached to the carriers with respect to the carriage of goods by sea and for matters connected therewith or related thereto. The Manipur Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to amend the Manipur Goods and Services Tax Act 2017 to avoid repugnancy with the Central Act. The Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill 2025. The bill seeks to foster ease of doing business and to promote ease of living. The Indian Institutes of Management Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to include IIM Guwahati in the schedule of the Act. The Taxation Laws Amendment Bill 2025. The bill proposes certain amendments to the tax laws. The Geo-Heritage Sites and Geo-Relics Preservation and Maintenance Bill 2025. The bill seeks to provide for declaration, preservation, protection and maintenance of geo-heritage sites and geo-relics of national importance for geological studies, education, research, spreading awareness and facilitating tourism regarding them and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to provide for viable recovery of associated critical minerals, inclusion of contiguous area in a lease for optimal and scientific mining of deep-seated minerals, widening the scope of National Mineral Exploration Trust, and legacy stock of minerals that cannot be used captively. The National Sports Governance Bill 2025. The bill aims to provide for the development and promotion of sports, welfare measures for sportspersons, ethical practices in sports through good governance practices, to establish institutional capacity and prudential standards for the governance of sports federations that are based on basic universal principles of good governance, ethics and fair play of the Olympic and sports movement. The Olympic Charter, the Paralympic Charter, international best practices, and establish legal standards to establish measures for the resolution of sports grievances and sports disputes in a unified, equitable, and effective manner. The National Anti-Doping Amendment Bill 2025. The bill aims to align specific definitions and provisions of the National Anti-Doping Act 2022 with international best practices and the World Anti-Doping Agency, that is WADA code, and ensure institutional and operational independence of the National Anti-Doping Appeal Panel. The readjustment of representation of scheduled tribes in assembly constituencies of the state of Goa Bill 2024. The bill for enabling reservation of seats in accordance with Article 332 of the Constitution for effective democratic participation of members of scheduled tribes and to provide for the readjustment of seats in the Legislative Assembly of Goa, insofar as such readjustment is mandated by inclusion of certain communities in the list of scheduled tribes in the state of Goa and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The visible part of Parliament's work takes place on the floor of the House. However, Parliament has another forum, its parliamentary committees, through which a considerable amount of work gets done. Important committee reports are expected to be tabled during the session. Parliament deliberates on complex matters that often need technical expertise for better understanding. Parliamentary committees provide members the forum to engage with domain experts and government officials in their study. These committees also help in building consensus across political parties. Committees have closed-door meetings that allow members to freely question and discuss the issues. There are 24 such departmentally related standing committees. Each of them oversees a set of ministries. These committees help Parliament keep pace with the growing complexity of governance. They also examine policy issues of respective ministries and make suggestions to the government. Parliament is the embodiment of the people's will, and the parliamentary committees are an instrument of Parliament for its own effective functioning. During the Monsoon Session of Parliament, several important reports of these committees are expected to be laid on the table of the House. The previous session, or the budget session of 2025 of Parliament, commenced on 31st of January 2025 and was adjourned sine die on 4th of April 2025. In between, both the houses were adjourned for recess on 13th of February 2025 to reassemble on 10th of March 2025 to enable department-related standing committees to examine and report on the demands for grants relating to various ministries and departments. During the previous session, a total of 11 bills, 10 in the Lok Sabha and 1 in the Rajya Sabha, were introduced. 16 bills were passed by the Lok Sabha and 14 bills were passed or returned by the Rajya Sabha. Total number of bills passed by both houses of Parliament stood at 16. The productivity of Lok Sabha during the previous session was approximately 118% and that of Rajya Sabha was approximately 119%. Well, that's all we had for you in this edition. With hopes of a fruitful and productive session, I sign off. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.